Ma'am, you got everything you deserved. You asked your husband for an open marriage. He got rid of you. Good. No sympathy. No sympathy, I'm sorry.
I asked my husband for an open marriage and lost everything. Please read my story. Hi, I've debated sending this email for months. Honestly, I didn't think my story was worth telling until I stumbled across your channel at 2 a.m., eating a pint of ice cream in bed, surrounded by my two fur babies, and wondering, how did I get here? My name is Christina. I'm 34. I live in Illinois, and if you told me 5 years ago I'd be divorced, sleeping alone with two chihuahuas, and crying over men who only call me when they want something from me, I would have laughed in your face. But here I am. And yes, I ruined my marriage. I admit that. I ruined a 6-year marriage to a man who once looked at me like I was the only woman on earth because I asked for an open marriage. That request destroyed everything we had. I let coworkers, compliments, and insecurity get into my head. And now I live with the consequences every single day. Let me explain how it happened, because it didn't all come crashing down overnight. It started slowly, like a leak in a roof you ignore until one day the whole ceiling caves in. Back when he loved me, my ex-husband and I met in 2015. It wasn't even romantic at first. We were just two people at a mutual friend's BBQ. But let me tell you, the moment I walked in, his eyes locked on me like I was the only woman in the backyard. Back then, I was around 150 pounds. Not skinny, but curvy in a way that turned heads. And he was all over me. I won't lie, I loved it. I had just gotten out of a situationship and wasn't looking for anything serious, but the way he made me feel, it was like oxygen. We ended up sleeping together the first day we met. I know some people will judge, but I felt a connection. And he wasn't just using me for a hookup. He called me the next morning, brought me breakfast, and said he wanted to see me again. We got married a year later. The first couple years were good. Not perfect, but we were best friends. We laughed, binge watched shows, went to brunch, and yeah, the bedroom was amazing for a while, but I started gaining weight. I don't want to make excuses, but working a desk job for years, commuting, stress, I slowly packed on about 70 pounds. I'm 5'6" and the weight showed. I was still eating salads for lunch and barely snacking, but the pounds crept up. I didn't even realize it until I saw a picture of myself at a work function and thought, is that really me? Still, I thought I looked good. I carry weight in my hips, thighs, and chest, and I've been told by more than a few men, especially black men, that I'm thick in the right places. I've always been what some would call voluptuous, and I've learned to carry myself with confidence. But my husband, he changed. The slow fade. At first, I brushed it off. He was working more, he seemed tired, but then our sex life slowed down. It went from 3-4 times a week to once every few weeks, then barely once a month. I tried talking to him, but he just said, "It's not you, I'm just stressed." But it felt like a lie. The same man who once couldn't keep his hands off me now acted like I was a chore. And that's when the doubt crept in. I started wondering, was he cheating? Was he just not attracted to me anymore? Why did he stop noticing when I got dressed up? I still got compliments from men when I was out, especially black men. I don't say that to be weird or inappropriate. It's just the truth. There were days I'd go to the gas station or grab coffee and someone would say, "Damn girl, you're fine," or "That body's something serious." One morning before work, I was at a BP gas station and this guy was hitting on me hard. He was aggressive with it, asking for my number, complimenting my thighs, saying I looked like a meal. Normally I'd be annoyed, but that morning it felt good. I was craving male attention and I wasn't getting it from my husband. So a stranger giving it to me? It made me feel visible again. I started venting to my coworkers, two women who were older than me by about 10 years. They both work in my department and we'd have lunch together most days. I told them everything. the lack of sex, the way I felt invisible, how I missed feeling desired. And that's when they told me they were both in open marriages. I was shocked. I had no clue. They seemed so normal, but they swore it helped their marriages. One said, "Girl, my husband and I have an agreement. What he don't do, someone else will, and vice versa. It works." The other nodded like it was no big deal and said it actually made her and her husband closer. So I started thinking, maybe this is the solution. Maybe my husband could get his mojo back and I could feel desired again. Maybe if we were both allowed to explore, we'd reconnect. So I did it. The conversation that ended everything. It was a Tuesday. I waited until after dinner. I had even lit candles and tried to be calm about it. I said, "Can we talk?" And he sat down on the couch. I still remember exactly how I said it. I've been thinking, maybe we should consider opening up our marriage. I think it could help us reconnect. He didn't even blink. He stood up, walked into the bedroom, packed a bag, grabbed his keys, and left. He didn't say a single word, not one. Gone. Just like that. No argument, no yelling, just silence. I sat on the couch for over an hour waiting for him to come back. He didn't. I called, texted, nothing. He was gone for over a month. Then one afternoon, I got a knock at the door. A cocky little 21-year-old handed me an envelope with the biggest smirk on his face. "Divorce papers," he said, like it was a joke. He even winked. I almost slapped him right there on the porch. "You think this is funny?" I snapped. He just said, "I'm just doing my job, ma'am," like some smart-mouthed brat. I broke down crying on the floor. I couldn't even reach my husband. He blocked me on everything: phone, email, social media. I didn't even know where he was living. Then one Saturday, I went to brunch with a girlfriend, and when I got back, he was gone. All his stuff vanished, like he'd never lived there. Did he hack my phone? Was he watching me? How did he know I was gone and for how long? I still don't know. My miserable new life. I lawyered up, but it was pointless. The divorce went through without a single conversation. No mediation. No fighting. Just done. Now I live alone. Just me and my dogs. I go to work, come home, scroll Instagram, and cry more than I'd like to admit. And yeah, I get attention from men, still, but it's empty. It's the kind of attention that doesn't lead to dates, just DMs and late night texts asking if I'm up. I've tried dating, went out with a couple guys, but it's just sex. They don't even pretend to want anything more. One guy didn't even offer me water, let alone dinner. Another ghosted me the second I asked, "So what are we?" That's all I am now. Just a hookup, just curves, just a body. To the women watching your channel, to any woman listening thinking that an open marriage will save your relationship, don't do it. If your man isn't showing you love or desire, don't fix it by looking elsewhere. Fix it together or walk away. But don't drag someone into something they didn't ask for. I made that mistake, and I regret it every day. I miss my husband. I miss his laugh. I miss the way he used to look at me like I was magic. I miss Sunday mornings in bed. I miss us. But I'll never get that back. He's probably out there with someone who values loyalty over attention. And I'm here with no one to talk to except two tiny dogs and strangers who say, "Damn girl at the grocery store." I ruined my marriage chasing a feeling, and now I feel nothing at all. Thanks for reading. Subject, Christina. Part 2. What I did after he left and why regret is a prison. Hi again. After writing you, I cried harder than I have in months. It became real in a way I hadn't fully accepted. I really did ruin my marriage, and that's not something I can sweep under the rug or laugh off with a girlfriend over wine. It's something I carry with me every single day. But a few people in the comments asked what happened next. So here's the truth about what came after. My attempt to reach him. About 6 months after the divorce papers were served, I broke. I was sitting in my car in the Target parking lot, holding a Starbucks drink I didn't even want, when I opened my notes app and wrote out a long message. It said everything I'd wanted to tell him since the night he walked out. I know you probably hate me. I wouldn't blame you. I was selfish. I let outside voices guide me instead of listening to your silence. I miss you. I think about you constantly. You didn't deserve what I did to you. I never wanted anyone else. I just wanted to feel wanted. I'm sorry I broke us. I debated sending it for hours. Finally, I pressed send, and nothing happened. It didn't even show delivered. That's when I realized he had changed his number, completely shut me out of his world. I couldn't even send him an apology. I tried one more thing. I emailed him. I kept it simple, just asking if we could talk. One coffee, just one. I told him I didn't expect him to forgive me. I just wanted a real goodbye. 2 days later, the email bounced back. Blocked. That was the moment it truly hit me. He had erased me from his life. And honestly, he had every right to. What regret feels like. Regret isn't just a thought. It's a presence, a ghost that follows you around the house. It sits beside you while you eat dinner alone. It climbs into bed with you at night. It whispers, "You did this to yourself." Every time you hear a happy couple laughing in public, people keep telling me to move on. It's been 2 years, Christina. You'll find someone new. You need to get back out there. But how do you move on when the love you lost was real? When it was your own hands that destroyed it? It's not like I caught him cheating or he treated me poorly. He was a good man, steady, loyal, thoughtful in ways that didn't show off. He remembered the little things, my favorite candle scent, the way I like my eggs, the way I hated when he left cabinet doors open. He used to tuck me in when I fell asleep on the couch. And now I sleep with two chihuahuas who snore louder than most men. I went on a real date, and it hurt more than I expected. A few months ago, I met a man through a mutual friend. Let's call him Brandon. He was polite, charming, funny. We went to a small jazz bar downtown, and I remember feeling hopeful for the first time in a long time. Maybe this was my second chance. Maybe not at love, but at connection. We talked for hours. He complimented my smile, said I had great energy. I laughed. He laughed. I thought, finally, someone who sees more than just my hips and thighs. We went on 2 more dates. Then, the 4th night, after dinner, we went back to his place. It was consensual. He was respectful. But the next morning, I felt nothing. I didn't feel happy or excited. I felt like I had betrayed myself. Because I realized I wasn't looking for a new relationship. I was looking for a replacement. Someone to rewrite my history and make me feel less guilty. Brandon called a couple days later. I didn't answer. I ghosted him. And I hate that I did that because he didn't deserve it. But I couldn't look at him without feeling like I was using him to numb the pain. What people say versus what you feel. My friends tell me I'm doing fine. You're doing better than most. At least you didn't have kids. You're still young and hot, and they mean well, but none of that helps. Because when I go home, I don't feel hot. I feel like a woman who had a husband, a home, a future, and gave it all away chasing a momentary high. I tried therapy for a while. My therapist was kind, but I wasn't ready to face the mirror she held up. I quit after 4 sessions. I told myself it was too expensive. Truthfully, I just couldn't sit there and keep hearing how everything came back to me. So I did what I've always done. I distracted myself. Shopping, drinking wine, new makeup routines, random flings, and none of it filled the hole. I keep dreaming about him. I've had this recurring dream. I'm at the old house, the house we shared. I'm sitting in the living room and I hear the garage door open. He walks in, carrying groceries like he used to. I smile, and he smiles back. Then he looks me in the eye and says, "I don't know who you are anymore." That's when I wake up. Sometimes I cry. Other times I just stare at the ceiling, wondering if the dream is really about him or about me realizing that I don't know who I am anymore either. The weight, the body, the attention. Let me talk about something that's awkward but honest. Yes, I've gained weight. Yes, men still hit on me. Yes, some of them make me feel good in the moment. But no amount of compliments will ever replace the feeling of being truly known and loved by one man. Black men still flirt with me. They say things like, "You thick in all the right places," or "Girl, you better stop before you get snatched up." But they never do snatch me up. They want to touch, not build. They want to play, not commit. And I'm tired of being seen as a body first and a person second. I try to pretend I'm empowered, like I'm some modern woman owning her sexuality, but I'm not. I'm just lonely, and it shows. The pet store breakdown. Here's a moment I haven't told anyone. I was at the pet store buying food for Max and Ruby. The cashier asked if I wanted to sign up for their rewards program under a family name. I paused. For too long. She looked at me funny, and I said, "No thanks, just me." That sentence broke me. Just me. I got in the car and sobbed so hard I couldn't drive for 10 minutes. Because that's my life now, just me. No family, no husband, no shared future. Just a woman, her dogs, and memories of what she used to have. Would I take him back? People have asked me, if he called you tomorrow, would you take him back? The honest answer is yes, without hesitation. Not because I'm desperate, but because I know now what I had. I understand the gravity of my mistake, and I've changed. I've grown. I've been humbled by heartbreak in ways I never imagined. But I also know he never will. He's too proud, too hurt, too done. And maybe that's what I need to accept, that some mistakes don't get forgiven, some bridges don't get rebuilt, some doors only open once. Advice to women. If you're unhappy in your marriage, don't look outward. Look inward. Ask yourself, what am I really seeking? Do I want validation or do I want to heal? Is this about my partner or is it about my wounds? Don't drag your man through emotional chaos just because coworkers or Instagram told you to explore. Don't try to be modern at the expense of your marriage. And if you do mess up, take accountability. Don't blame hormones. Don't say everyone's doing it. Just own it and learn. Because the consequences, they're not Instagram friendly. They're not aesthetic. They're cold, quiet, permanent. What now? I'm still here, still in the same house, still working the same job, still walking my dogs at sunset and pretending everything's fine. But lately, I've been thinking about going back to therapy, about facing the mirror and saying I can't undo the past, but I can start telling the truth. I want to be better, not for him. He's gone, but for me. I want to be the kind of woman who can look back one day and say, yes, I failed, but I didn't stay broken. So if you're reading this and you're where I was, about to throw something good away for a spark of attention, I beg you, don't. It's not worth it. Because once that spark fades, you'll be sitting in the dark, just like I am. Thank you for letting me tell my story again.